Hello? I'm really glad you are here today. Maybe you just woke up. Maybe you are drinking coffee. Maybe you opened this video because something inside you feels tired, even before the day has started. This channel is not about motivation that disappears after 5 minutes. It is not about pushing yourself harder or pretending life is always perfect. Here, we learn how to slow down, how to understand ourselves, and how to build a life that feels real from the inside. Today, we talk about something simple but very powerful. We talk about the morning. Because the truth is, the way we meet the morning quietly decides how our entire day will feel. Not our plans, not our goals, not even our problems. But the first hour after waking up, many people wake up already running. Phone, messages, news, stress, noise. Yesterday enters today without permission, and slowly, without noticing, we lose ourselves before the day even begins. But there is another way. There is something I call the golden hour, an hour that belongs only to you, not to work, not to social media, not to expectations, an hour where you return to yourself, where you clean the mind from yesterday's noise, where you wake up not only your body, but your awareness. This video is not a strict routine. It is a conversation, a quiet walk through a morning that helps you feel victory before the world even starts moving. Because when you win the morning, you don't need to fight the day. You simply live it. Take a slow breath. And let's begin. Why morning matters more than we think. Morning is a fragile moment. Your brain is still soft from sleep. Your thoughts are not fully formed. Your emotions are open. Psychologically, this is the moment when your mind accepts direction most easily. What you do now becomes a signal. Are we safe? Are we stressed? Are we rushing? Or are we present? Most people never choose this signal consciously. They react: alarm, phone, comparison, anxiety. And the nervous system learns one message: life is pressure. But the golden hour teaches another message: life begins with awareness. The idea of the golden hour. The golden hour is not about productivity. It is about alignment. Before you become a worker, a student, a partner, a creator, you are simply a human being waking up into existence again. Every morning is a small rebirth, and rebirth needs silence. In this hour, we do 3 things. 1. We return to ourselves. 2. We wake up the body. 3. We create inner victory, not big achievements, small wins. Because small wins tell the brain, I am in control of my life. And this changes everything. A question for you. Before we continue, ask yourself quietly, when was the last time you started a morning without rushing, without fear, without immediately escaping into your phone? Maybe you don't remember. That's okay. Today is not about guilt. It's about beginning again. But take a moment before we begin. Do not rush to understand everything. Just sit with me here for a little while. Maybe outside your window, the world is already moving. Cars, people, notifications, plans waiting for you. Life is already asking something from you. But right now, for these few minutes, nothing is required from you. You don't need to perform. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to be productive. You only need to be here. This space, this channel exists for one simple reason. We are learning how to live consciously in a world that constantly pulls our attention away from ourselves. Every day we are surrounded by noise, opinions, expectations, comparisons, endless information. We wake up and immediately enter someone else's rhythm, someone else's speed, someone else's priorities. And slowly, almost invisibly, we forget to ask one important question. How do I actually feel right now? Most people don't notice the moment they lose connection with themselves. It does not happen suddenly. It happens quietly, morning after morning. The alarm rings, and before the body fully wakes up, the mind is already running. Thoughts about work, responsibilities, unfinished conversations, problems from yesterday that continue living inside today. Yesterday never really ends. It follows us into the morning like unfinished noise. And because of this, many people feel tired not because life is too hard, but because they never truly begin their day. They continue it from yesterday. Think about this carefully. How often do you wake up already stressed, already behind, already feeling that something is wrong even when nothing bad has happened yet? This feeling is not random. It comes from the way we meet the morning. Morning is not just another part of the day. Morning is the moment when consciousness slowly returns. Your brain moves from dreams into reality. Your nervous system is sensitive. Your identity is flexible. In this moment, your mind is listening more deeply than at any other time. And whatever enters your mind first becomes the emotional direction of the day. If the first thing you meet is noise, your mind becomes noise. If the first thing you meet is pressure, your body becomes tension. If the first thing you meet is comparison, your confidence becomes smaller. But if the first thing you meet is awareness, something different happens. You begin the day from inside yourself, not from outside demands. This is why we talk about the golden hour, not as a trend, not as a productivity hack, not as another rule you must follow perfectly. The golden hour is a quiet agreement with yourself, an agreement that the first hour of your life each day belongs to you before it belongs to the world. Imagine waking up and not immediately escaping into distraction. Imagine giving your thoughts time to arrive slowly. Imagine allowing silence to exist without trying to fill it. At first, this may feel uncomfortable because many people are afraid of silence without realizing it. Silence shows us what we usually avoid: tiredness, doubts, questions, emotions we postponed yesterday. But silence is not an enemy. Silence is a reset. During sleep, the body rests, but the mind continues processing experiences. Dreams reorganize emotions. Memories move. Stress slowly settles. When you wake up, your inner world is still reorganizing itself. If you immediately open your phone or rush into tasks, you interrupt this process. It is like closing a book before finishing the last page. The golden hour allows the mind to complete yesterday before starting today. And something very interesting happens when you give yourself this space. You begin to hear your own thoughts again. Not the loud thoughts created by stress, but the quiet ones underneath, the honest ones, the thoughts that know what you truly need: rest, movement, clarity, direction, or simply breathing slowly for a moment. Most people search for motivation outside, but motivation often appears naturally when the mind is calm enough to feel meaning. Morning is the easiest time to create this calm because the world has not yet fully entered you. There is a special softness in early hours. Even the light feels different. Sounds are slower. Time feels wider. This is not imagination. Your brain waves are literally closer to a meditative state after waking. Creativity, reflection, and emotional processing work more naturally. In other words, morning is when you are closest to yourself. And yet, this is the moment we most often give away. We check messages, before checking our own feelings. We read news before understanding our own thoughts. We react before we exist. The golden hour changes this order. First, you exist. Then, you act. First, awareness. Then, responsibility. This small change creates a powerful psychological effect. Instead of feeling that life controls you, you begin to feel that you are participating in life consciously. And here's something important. The golden hour is not about perfection. You do not need candles, expensive routines, or complicated systems. You do not need to wake up at 5 in the morning if your body needs more sleep. The golden hour is not about discipline in a harsh way. It is about respect. Respect for your mind. Respect for your body. Respect for the fact that every new day is not guaranteed. It is given. When you start the day with respect, even simple actions feel meaningful. Drinking water becomes awareness. Stretching becomes gratitude toward the body. Breathing becomes grounding. And slowly, without forcing anything, you begin to feel something many people miss for years. You feel present inside your own life. This is why this topic matters. Because success without presence feels empty. Productivity without awareness leads to burnout. Achievement without inner connection never feels enough. But when the morning begins with you, truly with you, even ordinary days start carrying quiet satisfaction. You don't need a perfect life to feel grounded. You only need a conscious beginning. And maybe today, while listening to this, something inside you already understands this truth. Maybe part of you remembers mornings from childhood when waking up felt calm, when time was slow, when the day felt open instead of heavy. That feeling is not lost. It is only waiting for space to return, and the golden hour is that space. So before we go further, take one slow breath, not to relax perfectly, just to notice that you are here, alive, awake, beginning again. Section 2. Silence. Cleaning yesterday from the mind. When we wake up, something very subtle happens. The body opens its eyes faster than the mind returns to the present. For a few moments, we exist in a space between yesterday and today. Thoughts are not fully formed yet. Emotions are soft. Identity feels lighter, almost unfinished. This moment is extremely important, even if most people never notice it. Because before the first thought appears, there is silence. And this silence is not empty. It is working quietly inside you. During the night, your brain processes experiences you did not fully understand during the day. Conversations, stress, small disappointments, hopes, fears. Everything continues moving in the background while you sleep. Your mind tries to organize meaning, like a room slowly being cleaned in the dark. But when morning comes, the cleaning is not completely finished. And this is why rushing immediately after waking up creates inner chaos. Imagine someone cleaning a room, and before they finish, 10 new people enter and start throwing things around again. This is what happens when we wake up and instantly check notifications, news, or social media. Yesterday's emotional dust is still in the air, and we add new noise before clarity appears. The golden hour begins with protecting silence, not forcing silence, not creating artificial meditation, simply allowing the natural quiet of the morning to exist without interruption. At first, many people feel uncomfortable here. Silence can feel strange because we are used to constant stimulation. The brain expects input, music, videos, messages, scrolling. Something must always fill the space. Without it, thoughts become louder. But this is not a problem. This is the process of unloading yesterday. When you sit quietly after waking, you may notice random memories appearing. a conversation you forgot, a worry returning, a feeling without a clear reason. This is your mind completing unfinished emotional sentences. You are not doing something wrong. You are witnessing mental cleaning. Instead of escaping, you simply observe. You breathe slowly. You sit or stand near a window. You allow thoughts to pass without solving them immediately. And something surprising begins to happen. Thoughts slow down, not because you force them to stop, but because they finally feel heard. Many people carry stress not because life is too heavy, but because their mind never receives a moment to process experiences fully. Every emotion gets interrupted by the next distraction. Every thought is replaced before it finishes. Silence gives completion. It tells the nervous system, you are safe enough to slow down. When the nervous system feels safe, breathing becomes deeper. Muscles release small tensions you didn't notice before. Even your vision feels calmer, less sharp, less defensive. This is not spiritual theory, it is biology. Your brain moves from survival mode toward regulation. And this transition changes how the entire day unfolds. If you start the day in reaction, your brain stays reactive. If you start the day in awareness, your brain becomes responsive instead of impulsive. There is a big difference between reacting and responding. Reaction comes from yesterday. Response comes from presence. The silence of the golden hour creates space between stimulus and action. In that space, you regain choice. You begin to notice your thoughts instead of becoming them. You notice anxiety instead of immediately believing it. You notice pressure without letting it define your mood. Slowly, you become the observer of your inner world, not its prisoner. And this is where real clarity begins. Many people search for answers during the day when the world is loud, but clarity prefers quiet environments. Just like water becomes clear when movement stops, the mind becomes clear when stimulation decreases. You do not need to think harder. You need to think slower. Sometimes during this morning silence, an unexpected realization appears. A simple understanding about your life, your direction, or your emotions. Not dramatic, just honest. Maybe you realize you are tired, not lazy. Maybe you understand that a problem is smaller than you imagined. Maybe you feel gratitude without knowing why. These small realizations are signs that your mind is aligning itself. Silence reconnects different parts of you that were separated by stress. And here is something important. Silence is not doing nothing. It is preparation. Just like athletes warm up muscles before movement, silence warms up awareness before action. Without this preparation, the day begins abruptly, and the nervous system stays tense for hours. With silence, the day begins gently, and energy lasts longer. You may start with only 5 minutes. Sit on the edge of your bed. Look outside. Feel your breathing without changing it. No phone, no information, no goals, only arrival. At first, your mind will try to escape. It will suggest checking something important. It will create urgency where none exists. This is habit speaking, not necessity. If you stay anyway, something shifts. You begin to feel grounded, not excited, not overly motivated, just stable. And stability is more powerful than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Stability stays. The golden hour teaches stability through silence. You stop carrying yesterday unconsciously. You place it down gently before walking into today. And when yesterday is placed down, your energy becomes available again. You feel lighter, not because life changed, but because you are no longer holding everything at once. Morning silence is like opening a window inside the mind. Fresh air enters. Old tension leaves quietly, and suddenly the day does not feel like a battle waiting to happen. It feels like a space you can step into consciously. Not perfectly, but awake. Section 3, Awakening the Body. Movement as the first victory. After silence comes movement, not intense training, not pressure, not punishment for yesterday. Movement in the golden hour is not about becoming stronger immediately. It is about reminding the body that life has begun again. Many people wake up only mentally. Their thoughts start running, but their body stays half asleep for hours. They sit, scroll, drink coffee, rush into tasks, while the body remains slow, heavy, disconnected. And when the body feels heavy, the mind interprets this as lack of motivation. But often, it is not motivation that is missing. It is circulation, breath, activation. The human body was not designed to wake up in stillness and remain still. For thousands of years, waking meant standing, stretching, walking, preparing for movement. The nervous system expects physical activation as a signal that the day has started safely. Without this signal, energy stays locked. This is why the golden hour includes simple physical rituals, not complicated exercises, not perfection, just honest movement. The goal is very simple: to send a clear message to your brain. I am awake. I am alive. I am participating in this day. The first movements should feel almost natural, like the body remembering itself. You stand up slowly. You stretch your arms upward. You feel the spine waking, vertebra by vertebra. You breathe deeper without forcing it. At this moment, something important happens. Your attention moves from thinking into sensing. You stop living only inside your head and return into physical existence. Modern life pulls us into constant mental activity. We analyze, plan, compare, worry. The body becomes only a vehicle carrying the brain from task to task. Morning movement reconnects mind and body again. When you bend, stretch, or rotate your shoulders, you are not only moving muscles, you are waking neural pathways. Blood flow increases. Oxygen reaches the brain. Hormones responsible for alertness begin to rise naturally. Energy appears not because you forced yourself, but because physiology begins working with you. Then comes the first small challenge. Simple exercises, squats, push-ups, maybe a short plank, not many repetitions, just enough to feel effort. Why effort? Because effort creates meaning. When you choose voluntary discomfort early in the day, your brain experiences a small victory. You did something slightly difficult before life demanded anything from you. This changes your internal narrative. Instead of starting the day by reacting, you start by acting. And action creates confidence. Confidence is not built by thinking positive thoughts. It is built by keeping small promises to yourself. One set of squats becomes a promise kept. A few push-ups become proof of discipline. A deep breath after effort becomes awareness of strength. Your brain records this experience carefully. I can move even when I feel slow. I can act before motivation appears. I am capable of beginning. This is why physical movement in the golden hour is called the first victory. It is not about fitness results. It is psychological alignment. You prove to yourself that you are not controlled by inertia. Many people wait to feel ready before acting, but readiness often comes after movement, not before it. Motion creates emotion. As your heart rate increases slightly, your mood changes naturally. Stress hormones balance. Dopamine rises gently. You feel clearer without needing external stimulation. Even posture changes your thoughts. When your chest opens and shoulders move back, breathing deepens. The brain receives signals associated with confidence and safety. Emotional state follows physical state more than most people realize. This is why even 5 or 10 minutes of movement can completely change how the day feels. You are not trying to exhaust yourself. You are awakening energy step by step. Some mornings you will feel strong. Movement feels easy, almost enjoyable. Other mornings you will feel resistance. The body feels heavy. The mind negotiates excuses. These mornings are the most important because the golden hour is not practiced only when you feel good. It exists especially for days when motivation is absent. On difficult mornings, even one push-up matters, not for the body, for identity. You become someone who shows up anyway, and slowly, over weeks and months, something deeper changes. Movement stops being a task and becomes a conversation with yourself. You begin to listen to your body. You notice tension and release it. You feel gratitude for strength instead of criticizing weakness. You move not to escape discomfort, but to understand yourself better. The body becomes an ally instead of an obstacle. And after movement, there is a unique moment. You stop. You stand still again. Breathing slightly faster, heart alive, awareness sharp. This moment feels different from the silence before movement. Earlier, silence cleaned yesterday. Now silence feels earned. You sense warmth in muscles, presence in your body, a quiet satisfaction that does not need approval from anyone else. You already accomplished something real today, before emails, before conversations, before expectations. You created momentum, and momentum is powerful because it carries into everything that follows. Decisions become easier, focus lasts longer, emotional reactions soften. You started the day not as a passive observer, but as an active participant. This is the hidden purpose of morning movement, not transformation of the body, transformation of relationship with effort. When effort becomes familiar early in the morning, challenges later in the day feel smaller. Your nervous system recognizes effort as normal, not threatening. You don't avoid difficulty. You move through it. And slowly, day after day, the golden hour teaches one quiet truth. Victory is not something waiting at the end of the day. Victory begins in the first movements after waking. Section 4. Rituals of the Golden Hour. Building Inner Victory. After silence and movement, something important appears inside you. Space. The mind is calmer. The body is awake. Your attention is no longer scattered. This is the moment where rituals begin. Not strict rules, not complicated systems. Rituals are simple actions repeated with awareness. They are small anchors that tell your brain, this is how my day begins. This is who I am becoming. Many people misunderstand rituals. They imagine perfect morning routines shown online, beautiful rooms, ideal lighting, endless discipline. But real rituals are quiet and personal. They do not need to look impressive. They only need to feel honest. A ritual works because it creates predictability for the nervous system. When the brain knows what comes next, anxiety decreases. Energy stops being wasted on decision-making. Instead of asking, what should I do now? Your mind relaxes into familiar movement, and in that familiarity, confidence grows. The first ritual can be very simple, drinking water consciously, not while scrolling, not while thinking about tasks, just standing or sitting and drinking slowly, feeling the temperature, feeling the body receiving something it needs after hours of sleep. This small act sends a deep message. I take care of myself before the world asks anything from me. Self-respect often begins with small physical gestures. Then maybe you prepare tea or coffee. But instead of rushing, you treat the process as a pause, listening to the sound of water, watching steam rise, allowing yourself to arrive fully into the morning. You are not delaying productivity. You are preparing clarity. Many people try to start the day fast to gain time, but paradoxically, they lose focus later. Rituals slow the beginning so the rest of the day can move smoother. Another powerful ritual is writing. Not perfect journaling, not long reflections, just a few honest sentences. What do I feel this morning? What do I want to bring into today? What can I let go of from yesterday? Writing externalizes thoughts. When thoughts leave the mind and appear on paper, they lose emotional pressure. Problems become objects you can observe instead of storms you must survive. You do not write to create wisdom. You write to create space. Sometimes you will write only one line. Sometimes nothing meaningful appears. That is normal. The ritual works not because of deep insights every day, but because you consistently meet yourself. Another ritual can be intentional breathing. 3 slow breaths, 5 slow breaths. No special technique required. Breathing consciously teaches the nervous system regulation. It reminds the body that calmness is available without external conditions. Over time, your brain learns to return to this calm state faster, even during stressful moments later in the day. Rituals are not about adding more tasks. They are about choosing actions that create inner stability. And stability creates something very important: the feeling of early victory. Most people wait until evening to feel successful. They depend on results, approval, or completed work. But this creates fragile confidence because success becomes dependent on external outcomes. The golden hour changes this dynamic. You experience success before the day tests you. You already cared for your mind. You already moved your body. You already acted with awareness. So even if the day becomes difficult, something inside you remains steady. You started well. You showed up for yourself. This creates emotional resilience. You are no longer chasing a good day. You are building one from the beginning. Over time, rituals shape identity quietly. You stop saying, "I should take care of myself." You begin feeling, "I am someone who takes care of myself." Identity is formed not by big decisions, but by repeated mornings. Every ritual becomes a vote for the person you are becoming, and there is another hidden effect. Rituals slow perception of time. When mornings are rushed, days blur together, weeks disappear quickly, life feels fast and slightly empty. But when mornings contain conscious moments, memory becomes richer. The brain records experiences more deeply. You begin to feel your life instead of watching it pass. Even ordinary mornings gain meaning. Light entering the room feels noticeable. The taste of coffee feels real. Breathing feels grounding. These small experiences accumulate into a sense of presence many people search for in bigger achievements. Presence is not found in extraordinary moments. It is built through repeated attention to ordinary ones. And eventually, the golden hour stops feeling like practice. It becomes home, a familiar emotional place you return to every morning before meeting the world. You carry this calm into conversations, into work, into decisions. People may not understand why you feel more stable, but you will know. Your day did not begin in chaos. It began with intention, and intention quietly changes everything. Section 5. Integration. How the morning becomes your life now. After silence, movement, and rituals, something almost invisible has happened. The morning did not just pass. You changed your relationship with the beginning of the day. And this change may look small from the outside, no dramatic transformation, no sudden success, just an hour lived differently. But life is not shaped by rare big moments. Life is shaped by repeated beginnings. Every morning asks the same quiet question, how will you enter this day? For many years, most people never answer this question consciously. They wake up inside momentum created by stress, habits, and expectations. Days feel similar because mornings feel unconscious. But when you practice the golden hour, mornings stop being automatic. They become intentional entrances into life, and slowly, something deeper changes. Not only how you start the day, but how you experience yourself inside it. You begin to notice space between events and reactions. Problems still appear, responsibilities still exist, unexpected difficulties still come. The world does not become easier, but you become steadier. Instead of feeling pushed by the day, you feel grounded within it. This is the real purpose of the golden hour, not productivity, not discipline for its own sake, not becoming a perfect version of yourself. The purpose is presence. When presence grows, anxiety loses some of its power. You stop living only in future worries or past regrets. Attention returns to what is actually happening now. And when attention returns, life feels fuller. Simple conversations feel warmer. Work feels clearer. Even rest feels deeper because your nervous system remembers how calmness feels. Over time, the golden hour becomes more than a morning practice. It becomes identity. You begin trusting yourself more because every morning you prove that you can show up for your own life. Confidence grows quietly without needing validation. You stop waiting for motivation. You create direction through action. And maybe the most important change is this: you stop starting your days already defeated. Many people carry invisible exhaustion because every morning begins with pressure. They wake up already feeling behind, already feeling not enough. The golden hour breaks this cycle. You begin the day with a win, not a win compared to others, not a win measured by success, a private victory. You chose awareness. You chose movement. You chose care. And this victory belongs only to you. Imagine repeating this not once, but many mornings. Weeks begin to feel different. Months gain structure. Your emotional baseline slowly rises. Not constant happiness, something more stable. Inner trust. You know that no matter what happens later, you have already met yourself today. And when a person meets themselves regularly, loneliness decreases. Confusion decreases. Life becomes less chaotic because there is always a place to return, the morning. The golden hour becomes a quiet conversation between you and your future self. Each morning you say, I am still here. I am still trying. I am still choosing to live consciously. And maybe one day you will look back and realize something surprising. The biggest changes in your life did not begin with dramatic decisions. They began with calm mornings, with breathing slowly near a window, with a few honest movements, with small rituals repeated when nobody was watching. Transformation rarely announces itself loudly. It grows silently through consistency. So tomorrow morning, do not try to change everything. Do not create pressure. Just protect a small piece of time for yourself. 5 minutes of silence, a few movements, one conscious action. That is enough to begin. And if today's video stayed with you, not only as information, but as a feeling, then maybe this is a sign that you are ready to meet your mornings differently. If this space helps you slow down, think deeper, and reconnect with yourself, you are always welcome here. Subscribe if you want more conversations like this. Not lessons, not motivation, just reminders to live more consciously. And wherever you are right now, thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your morning tomorrow. And until we meet again, rest well, breathe slowly, and move gently into your life. See you soon, my friend.